Just a few months ago, Simon Lubisi was very concerned with the state of crime in his neighborhood. He stays in Gauteng in Tembisa. Crime is just bad. So him and his neighbor came with an idea to install CCTV on their street to keep themselves safe. On Saturday night, 4 men entered his home. They broke the door using an axe. They injured his wife and son. They then shot him multiple times and killed him. And these are not the criminals him and his neighbor necessarily thought about when they installed the CCTV on their street. You see, Simon is a principal at a private school in the area. And just hours after he was brutally killed at his home, his colleague, the deputy principal at his school, was arrested for his murder. This is the tragic story of Principal Simon Lubisi.
You know, when you hear sounds from gunshots, they're coming from inside and you're inside. So they felt like, they're too far, maybe it's not here. But now, a couple of minutes later, I heard sounds coming from outside my room. Now it gave me a concern. No, this thing is in my yard. Let me go and check.
Welcome to True Crime with me, Julia. On this channel, we look into true crime cases that have happened in South Africa. Today's case is super new. It broke on Saturday night, and we couldn't do it then because his identity was still withheld. As mentioned, the case is really new, so this story is based on news reports, it's based on a police confirmation, and I really want to specifically note Tembisa Online, a community publication in Tembisa, who have been covering the story closely and been present at the scene since it broke. They also broke and covered in detail the story of the Engcuweni Primary School. Now that we have mentioned Principal Nozibele Tapu and the Engcuweni Primary School clerk Nobantu Mjombini, I think let's just start this particular story from there.
Guys, ke khopela le nromele 500. Ke khopela le nromele 500. Ke shara ka ntshitse dilo. Kore from where I'm sitting. Ish, dilo di shara kan. Ene ke hloka 500 no so lena di yang ka mkgo nromeleng 500 ka reng ka ipola mo tla be le re hey wa se a boleli hey be re tla be re mo thushitse. I'm telling you now ke khopela 500 ke lokisa mabaka ka ke be sharp ene okay.
You probably remember Mogadi Shongwe. Mogadi and her friend and popular local DJ Duki Benjamin Maditsi are currently in prison. They will be spending Christmas in there for allegedly murdering Principal Tapu and Nobantu at the Engcuweni Primary School. The police allege that the hit on the two women, who are Mogadi's colleagues at the school, was ordered because they noticed that Mogadi was allegedly borrowing herself money from the school, where she is the finance clerk. She allegedly stole 52,000 and then also stole 60,000 rand, which she deposited into her own account. They then questioned her about this money. Hours after they had scheduled a meeting to discuss this, they were allegedly shot and killed. Now at this point, we know for sure that there is no link between the murder of Principal Tapu and Nobantu and this new case of the murder of Principal Simon Lubisi. Principal Simon was 61 years old. He is a father, and he lived with his children and wife in Gauteng in Tembisa. According to what I saw on social media, a lot of people describe him as a father figure, and not just to his children. They say he had a fatherly warmth about him that helped raise them as well, not just the learners at his school. His neighbors said, more than anything, he also cared about the larger community in most instances. One of his neighbors said if there's one thing about Tembisa is that crime is at its highest. So this was a concern to all of them. So instead of waiting for the government to do something, they took money from their own pockets and they installed CCTV so that their whole community can feel safer and monitor what happens in their neighborhood when they are not around or when they are sleeping.
He was a big contributor, safety and security.
But that was not even enough. On Saturday, around midnight, 4 men jumped the wall at Lubisi's home and they used an axe to break the door. They then got inside and found him, his son, and wife. They then assaulted the wife and son and injured them. They shot and killed Principal Simon Lubisi. They robbed the family of cash, laptops, and cell phones, and then they fled the scene.
The husband was shot dead while the wife and the son were assaulted. The suspect robbed the victims of laptops, cell phones, and cash before they flee the scene.
So you know when you hear sounds from gunshots, they're coming from inside and you're inside. So they felt like, they're too far, maybe it's not here. But now, a couple of minutes later, I heard sounds coming from outside my room. Now it gave me a concern. No, this thing is in my yard.
I mentioned earlier that Samuel Lubisi is a principal at a local private school. The Summit Christian Academy in Tembisa is one of the schools that parents turn to for a private education at an affordable monthly fee. According to the school's social media profile, they were officially established in 2019 and they are a primary school. They are based in Endulwini, just opposite the Endulwini Primary School. And they are just 5 minutes drive from Endulwini Primary School, where Principal Tapu and Nobantu were shot and killed just 3 weeks ago. So news of Principal Lubisi's tragic murder spread like wildfire. The teachers at his school are obviously receiving this news over the weekend, and on Monday morning, the school's admin office is still open for last-minute report collections and closing the books for the year. And of course, a way forward now that this tragedy has befallen them. Their leader was killed, and now they are looking at the deputy principal for interim leadership and at least to guide them. When they arrived at the school in the morning, news broke the school principal's second in command, a 50-year-old deputy principal, was arrested on Sunday around 1 a.m. and he is being detained at the Rabasutu police station in connection with the murder of Principal Lubisi. At this point, all we know is that he reportedly hired Ingabi to shoot and kill his boss in front of his wife and son just days before Christmas.
NjengeTembisa Online sithola ke imbiko yokuba sekuboshwe owesilisa oneminyaka elinganiselwa kwengamashumi ubudala 50. Lona wesilisa kubiwa ukuba uyiphini likathishanhloko esikoleni sibizwa ukuthi i-The Summit Academy, lesi sikole silapha ya emgaqweni uHadebe endaweni yasendulwini khona lapha eTembisa.
And as it stands, the 4 Inkabis who pulled the trigger are still on the run.
Suspect forcefully entered the house using an axe. The husband was shot dead while the wife and the son were assaulted. The suspect robbed the victims of laptops, cell phones, and cash before they flee the scene.
What are your thoughts on this one? What do you think is really going on here? What is going on in Tembisa? And are we now normalizing the killing of the education system? This is sad. Thank you so much for watching. Please stay safe. I will see you on the next one.